at the end of the day, nobody knows what I went through. Nobody knows what I'm going through. So nobody, you, him, whoever the fuck, you don't get to sit here and talk about shit.
Is this your secret to staying warm?
No.
No, it isn't.
I have no secrets. I'm mad. I have to go to work. I have to earn a living. I'd rather have a private income and get laid well and often.
Say, make that ass clap. Make that ass. Make that ass. Say, make that ass clap. Make that ass.
Yeah. What's up? What's happening, monkeys? Yeah, it's Mr. Royce, and I'm back. I actually came back. I actually came back. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, I actually stayed up, came my ass back. I be getting in bed and shit. I'm an old dude. What's happening? How y'all doing? This is Royce J. Royce Media coming at you guys with another video, with another live stream. How about that? Yeah. Today was Valentine's Day. Yeah. What'd you get your girl? What'd you get your girl for Valentine's Day besides a coupon for another booty biscuit eating? We all know what y'all do. If you ain't watching me, yeah, that's what you're getting ready to do. You're brushing your teeth and taking a shower so you can go eat some ass. Yeah. 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 A lot of people are, you know, showing each other, giving each other tokens of uh of their expressions of love and appreciation, for this Hallmark holiday. So shout out to all the people that do what they are programmed to do, because that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, you know, um, I was watching Kenny Powers earlier. Me and my wife, we ate dinner, watched Kenny Powers and stuff, Had a good time doing that. Um, we just recently finished up the Mighty Gemstones. If you haven't watched it, um, it's very entertaining. I would strongly suggest you watch it, and you got to watch it from the first episode. It's pretty wild. So, other than that, um, you know, can't say I did a whole lot. I did a live stream earlier, did some, ran some errands early and stuff. I'm pretty much living that retirement life for now. So it is what it is. But earlier I was talking about Kimberly Nicole Foster and why she is disingenuous, why she is hypocritical, basically why she's a clown. And from what I can see, apparently General Tito, shout out to General Tito. General Tito is pretty much whooping on her head right now. So, you know, um, he is much more of savage than I am. So he's uh he's really kicking her in the pants, so to speak. And it's good. I think more content creators um, that are concerned about um, you know, um, black male issues, black male sovereignty, so forth and so on. I think they need to address Kimberly Nicole Foster. I think they need to address people like her. I think people like the clown maker, they need to address clowns like her as well. So I overall think it's a good thing. Um, that being said, I'm still in a position that more or less Obsidian did bring what happened to his platform onto himself, and some of the stuff he's said in interviews. I'm like, come on, dog. All right, it is what it is, and you went too far. Which I'll stand by that. He's still he's still a good brother. He still did a lot of material that I like, but he went too far, and he gave her the rope that she used to hang him. So, that being said, she's giving um she's setting herself up for pretty much the same issue. There's an African proverb that says, when looking to kill one's enemy, uh, go and dig, make sure you dig two graves. And one that is one for yourself and one for your enemy. One for your enemy and one for yourself. So I think that's what she did in that situation. And like I said, I've said this before. I'm all about free speech. People being able to say what they want to say, but that doesn't mean freedom from consequences. That doesn't mean freedom from critique. That doesn't mean freedom from criticism. That doesn't mean freedom from pushback, so forth and so on. And the thing is that she needs to get the pushback. She needs the things that she says and does. They need to be broken down analytically and shown to the viewership that, hey, this chick is full of shit. I think we have enough content creators in this space, and enough content creators that are aligned in thought and talking points that can effectively address uh, the hypocrisy that is Kimberly Nicole Foster. And she's not the only one. She's not the only one. Um, she's one of several right now that need to be addressed. And right now, she's walking around. She's walking around, big dick and putting her nuts on the table. She thinks she's the hog with the big nuts, and so we need to slam the book down on her nuts. you know. So I think right now we're seeing Hardcore Tito do just that. Uh, we're seeing General Tito do that. So shout out to General Tito for that. Other than that, what else do you guys want to talk about? Other than uh, a lot of the nonsense that's going on, because there is a lot of nonsense going on. There's a lot of nonsense going on, man. There is there's so much nonsense to going on. I really can't even narrow it down. Um, I guess a couple of days ago, Corey Holcomb addressed the social media beef he has going with Shannon Sharp, also known as Shay Shay, and he gave Corey Holcomb style apology, which I mean, he's a comedian. He's a Chicago guy. If you've been around Chicago guys, um, they kind of do backhand compliments all the time, backhand apologies, and Chicago guys tend to be offended very easily. It is what it is. That's what makes them Chicago guys. It's like New York guys. New York guys are unnecessarily loud. New York guys talk tough when they can't really fight. Uh, you know, and they all are you know um they're all for some reason they all act like TV Italians, even the black ones. you know. So yeah. Every major city has uh the people have a certain way of being that when you've been around them, you know what it is, be it the style of dress, mannerisms, vernacular, so forth and so on. You kind of when you know those people, once you've been around them a while, wherever you go and you encounter somebody from that area, it's kind of the same thing. You can spot them out. I can always spot Chicago guys out because the Chicago guy is looking for the insult and everything because Chicago guys will insult you in every compliment that they give you. It's um, it's just how they are. Yeah, man, I understand you ugly and all, man. I understand it's rough for you being ugly, but you'll be all right. Chicago guys say stuff like that. you know, you know, man, you doing real good in your little business, man. You making a little money there. I see it's decent. Chicago guys will say stuff like that where it's like a borderline insult, and they look for the insult in whatever you say to them. Mike Reed, what up, man? How you feeling there, bro? Glad to have you here. I finally went ahead and did I and am doing one of the those evening live streams um, that I'm always alleging that I might do. I'm actually doing one, so here I am, and it's good to have you here, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. So, um, what else can we talk about? Well, let's talk about the situation with Monique and their son. Recently Monique was on the Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp. You know, um, she was on that show and she talked about the estranged relationship she has with her oldest son, and she um, said something to the effect that she hopes to reconcile with him, that she's trying to reconcile with him. Well, the son responded, and you know, he was pretty articulate, and he didn't say anything, devastating, but he didn't, he kind of called her out and said she was pretty much disingenuous, you know, and he articulated that, and I actually saw it a couple of days ago, which I probably should have saved the video, but I didn't. I didn't think I was going to talk about it. But this is from what I've seen of that situation. This is what happens a lot of times with family disputes, and how people in the same family perceive things. Um, this is a lot of. It's like almost like the Antoine Fisher story, where you'll have the parent that said, in their mind they did the best that they could, and even though they'll acknowledge that they weren't the best parent, but they say, well, I did the best I could for you, and the kid, you know, um, for whatever reason they feel like uh, it either wasn't enough or that the parent pursued um, having a relationship with that child in the wrong way. And that it's something. I'm not going to say it's common, but it's something that you will see. It's something that a lot of men experience. A lot of women experience it too. A lot of the women we say that have daddy issues, even though their dad may have been there. I think that's the root of a lot of what they call daddy issues. A lot of the guys that, quote unquote, have mommy issues, they have that. And the thing about it, when we say mommy issues and daddy issues, we kind of put all of that on the person in the position of the progeny, the children, but we don't really look at it from the it's like we don't take into consideration enough um for the parent side. We've had that back in the day you had that song um by Tupac, one of the lyrics, even though you was a crack fiend, mama, always was a black queen, mama. You had the songs, I'll always love my mama. Then, on the other side, you had the Papa was a Rolling Stone and stuff. You know, even the white guys had songs like that. You know, um, what was that song by Leonard Skinner? Not Good Man, but I can't think of the name of it. But if you know Leonard Skinner, you know the song I'm talking about. It was that it was like that the second really big hit that they had. I like that song a lot. I just can't think of it right now. But you know, there's a very limited view of it on the side of the parents. I think what happens is lots of times, the kids they the kids see things as one way and the parents see things as another way. And I think on both sides people really don't give enough grace to the other people, or they give too much undue grace. It's either not enough grace, or too much undue grace. And it's like the question is, where's the balance? You have a lot of situations where men get alienated from their kids, and they get alienated from their kids because of work, quite frankly. Especially if you are a man and you're handling the majority of the bills, or all you have a stay-at-home wife. Lots of times, for the average guy, he's probably working 16 to 18 hours a day. You know, be it a high value man, or a man that's just grinding, trying to make up for two incomes. He's working a lot, and so guys like that tend to miss. They tend to miss, the tea parties. They tend to miss some of the 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 social events of kids in school. They tend to miss some sporting events. They tend to miss things, and the thing about it is, the kids, they feel some type of way about it, in a negative manner. And yeah, I get it. You know, the thing about it is, what a lot of those kids don't understand is that if it were not for this particular parent taking on that, earning that, them working like that to provide for family, not only would it be highly possible that that kid wouldn't be able to participate in a lot of the things that they would have participated in. Um, it's highly likely that they may have two parents outside of the house working and really getting, even less attention than they're getting now. Because if you have a situation where a man is taking on the full financial load of a house and mom is there, that kid takes for granted that mom is there because dad is literally killing himself working every day. You know, the kid doesn't see it that way because uh, kids don't understand money. They don't understand money. Lots of times they grow up and become adults that don't understand money, particularly women. A lot of women don't understand money, which is why they think somebody 20 something years old, they should have no problem going out earning a six-figure salary, when, even with uh, master's degrees out of college, it's highly unlikely. you know It is what it is. But they don't understand money. They don't understand the economy. They don't understand trade offs and stuff. And so they're mad because dad missed a couple of football games, or dad didn't come to the, student of the month award or something like that, you know, and they hold that against dad, but they're not looking at that because of this, dad was able to facilitate the things that led up to that. And not only that, there are events that dad didn't miss, you know, that dad set aside to be there, so, and may have missed out on money, but the parents made it work some kind of way. The kids don't see that. They just see what what displeases them, and this is the thing that happens with a lot of people. People tend not to look at the things that make them happy. They look at as, well, that's supposed to happen, and they focus on instead the things that go wrong, and they have a hard time letting that go. Meanwhile, they have a hard time remembering all of the good times. And on the other side of that is that you have, you know um you have party dad, you have fun dad, or you have fun mom, where they clearly could have went out and made more money, you know, and did more things to be in a better, to put the family in an overall better financial situation through work, and you know, you know, through honest means, through adult and ethical means. But instead, they were at all of the parties, they were at all of the good times, and they built a lot of, moments, a lot of tee hee ha ha smiley moments. But you come to find out they were borrowing money from the grandparents and rich uncles, and and they were scamming people for money, and you know robbing Peter to pay Paul, doing a lot of really unethical, underhanded shit, just so they can be the fun parents. And they did all of this stuff, and they instilled shitty values in the kids, to where the kids will show up for fun but not for work, and the kids think life is on easy street until they have to get out on their own and find out that, no, in order to have anything, there's a good amount of uncomfortableness that goes with achieving real goals, and you can't just go through life, living off other people, or borrowing money, and stuff like that. And so you have that, and that's something that kids don't understand until they get older. And a lot of times, even when they get older, they don't understand it. And even with therapy and stuff, depending on the mind frame of their kid, a lot of them really don't get that message. And this happens with men. This happens with men. This really happens with women a lot. You have a lot of women who, they've got this thing when men do things to take care of them, when men do things to, when they exhibit emotional intelligence and different things like that. And the men are saying, hey, I did this and this and this because I love you. The first thing those women say, well, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that as a man. And it's like, you know, it really shows um an ungrateful spirit in being entitled, you know, especially because if a man does that, lots of times that woman is not going to have to say anything to him. If there are other people around, they are going to correct him for saying something like that. But nobody has a problem doing this to men, and that becomes an issue. And now there are men that that exhibit this as well, you know, but I think it's far more common in women, especially when you look at attitudes among regular people, and you look at what's reflected in mainstream media and social media, there's a entitled an air of entitledness and ungratefulness where it comes to the things that men do for women and do for society. It's, well, you're supposed to do that. You're a man, you know. Whereas, things for women are considered to be anything done for the benefit of somebody else, done by a woman, is considered a gift, you know, and it's problematic, and you know, it really uh it unnecessarily deifies people that haven't done anything to deserve it, you know. And this is another thing with kids too. Kids learn this from their mothers, because you got to remember the mothers are the first teachers, and because we don't really separate the children from their mothers, once they get a certain age, to where they're completely removed from the influence of the mother, you know, and then they go to school with women, a lot of that toxic entitlement is reinforced, you know, that because that female school teacher is an extension of the mother. And, we know now that that teachers, more and more we're seeing in schools, teachers really don't teach anything worth knowing. All they do is reinforce programming, and they're basically babysitters, to reinforce, um, dumbass programming. That's just to put it plain. They reinforce dumbass programming, and so you wind up with the the kind of adults we're seeing today. Where um, they're basically social media memes. you know, so you have that. Now, getting back to that situation with Monique and her son, Monique said what she said, and her son responded, and he said what he said. He didn't drag her. He just called out what he felt was disingenuous about the things that she said, and you kind of have that stalemate there. I personally, you know, I'm kind of on the fence. On the one hand, you have to, with situations like that, you have to be real careful, because you don't want the public to know too much of your family business. But on the other side, people have to see that other real people are going through some of the same things that they're going through, and have some of the same problems. And then people also have to see that, you know, especially when it comes to, uh, you know, the complaints, and the concerns that men have, that, it's not just a group of guys making videos on the internet. It's guys all over the same place from different walks of life that are saying a lot of the same things. And so, if you're starting to hear the same thing in a lot of places, from a lot of people who don't necessarily talk to each other, they could all be seeing the same problem. That's not taken into consideration. So, you know, but that's exactly what's going on. These people are, they're seeing something that is an obvious problem, and this is something that's got to be dealt with, because different people in different places are saying the same thing. And it's not just a network of people in the same group. You know, it's unlike some of the stuff that people coming out of the same. And this is the difference. You have guys that are coming from different walks of life, different education levels, different life experience levels, different countries. They're saying the same thing about stuff, whereas um, a lot of the women that are complaining about problems, number one, they're all coming out of the same three places, which is entertainment, academia, at some level, or politics. They're all saying the exact same thing, and they're all coming out of the same. They're all coming. They're all saying the same thing, and they're all saying the same information. That when you really look at it, it's inaccurate information. It's either dated or inaccurate, like gap. The wage gap lie. You know, it's been illegal since 1973 or 1968 to pay women less than men for the same work. But you know, you've had countless presidents, campaigning on, fixing the wage gap. When there is no wage gap. In fact, in some areas, of opportunity, women actually are overrepresented in those areas, such as academia, you know. So, um, but what you're finding out is, these women, the programming is all pretty much the same. You can narrow it down to a few sources. You can narrow it down to, the same types of institutions that this programming is coming from. Whereas you'll have guys that, you have gang members, police officers, farmers, and oil well riggers all happen to say the same things, you know, two diametrically opposed groups. You'll have conservatives and liberals, males, that a lot of times will come to the same point about certain things. And it's like, politically and idealistically, they're diametrically opposed. So that's kind of, and it's far more organic because you know they're stepping outside of the programming and they're seeing something else, and that's what's called the red pill. They're seeing a reality that exists outside of the programming, and so that's where you get all of that red pill, blue pill from. That was the that was the true meaning of using um, those social memes. It wasn't something um, to terrorize people of the opposite gender. So but yeah, you had that, going back to that Monique situation. I don't know if Monique's son listens to a lot of the male content on social media. I don't know anything about this guy. I don't think most people knew who he was before this interview, but he's saying a lot of the stuff that a lot of the guys have been complaining about for years. You know, and he came from pretty much a position of privilege. His mom, she was out there getting it for a while. She was doing some big things. She had shows, and she was in movies, and she was doing, she was on TV and stuff. She was getting it for a while, and so she was making decent money, and he didn't have to struggle a whole lot, but he still had his issues, and he addressed um he addressed what he could. What up, Cortez? How you feel, man? Glad to have you on this quick live stream that I'm doing. I appreciate you being here, bro. Yeah. So, so getting back to that was the issue, pretty much you know, with that situation. And then uh, you know, What else is going on? The whistleblowers with the Fannie Willis stuff. Fannie Willis and Tiffany uh Tiffany, what is her Hinkman, the girl from Dalton, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. They are the political gift that keeps on giving. Then you had the Maori girl. What was her name? She just got convicted of mortgage fraud. Um, Let me see what her name was. Tiffany. Okay, Tiffany Henyard. And then what was the Maori girl's last name? Um, Tamara Maori from uh Tamara Maori from let me hold on. Was that her name? Let me see. I don't think that's her name. What's this woman's name? Um, it's not Tia Mowry. It's not. It's not them twins. Let me see if I can. Marilyn Mosby. I was calling her Maury. It's Marilyn Mosby. Marilyn Mosby. She got convicted. Um, you know. Oh well, she was found guilty. She was former Baltimore DA found guilty of mortgage fraud, and she claims that of course she claims that racism had something to do with the decision. It's always racism when they get in trouble. It's black girl magic when they get these positions. It's black girl magic when they are the face of industry. It's black girl magic when they get the titles, but then which black girl magic is racist and sexist, but then it's racism and sexism when they get caught and they wind up in trouble, you know. So you know, you can't have it both ways. But they insist on it. It's getting old real fast that that they keep they keep claiming racism whenever they get caught. You know, um, it's getting old. You know, um, our girl out there, Fannie Willis, she can't even claim sexual harassment because she was the sexual harasser. If I were Nathan Wade, I would throw her under the bus and be like, "She made me do it. She made me bust her down. I didn't want to. I didn't want to get divorced or nothing." But she threatened to fire me and all kinds of stuff if I didn't do what she wanted me to do. And so I just went on with it because I didn't think anybody would believe me. If I was him, I would throw her right under the bus. you know, it is what it is, man. Yeah, yeah. So But thing is we're starting to see a whole lot, and I've said this before. Of we're going to see a lot of black girl tragic magic. Um, um, we're going to see a lot more of that coming this year. And it'll be interesting to see how it shapes politics since, the Queens um, state that they are the political leadership of Black America and that they saved America from Donald Trump and stuff. It'll be interesting to see um, what the next few years look like because every time you look up, they get caught doing all of the stuff they wag their finger at men about for years. And so now they're getting caught, man, you know? So, yeah, man, Tiffany Henyard, something else came up in the news, about her. Um, yeah, man. Hey, I got some, man. I want to show you guys. Man, this shit was hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. Man, this shit was hilarious. Man. Yeah, but you got that stuff going and okay, it's not. All right. We're gonna try to do this right here. We're gonna see how this goes. Sometimes sometimes OBS gets real funky. Come on, man. There it is. Let me pull this bullshit up. This shit. Y'all see that book? Ah, ah. Hey, that's some straight up bullshit, man. That is some bullshit. Hey, that's Florida for you, man. Hey, that's a straight up. That's Florida shenanigans for you, man. Hey, did y'all see that, man? Hey, hey, man, it's like what? Hey, put a one in the chat if y'all saw that video, man. If y'all didn't see it, I'm about to play it again, man. That video was hilarious. Oh, Yeah, man. But yeah, that man, these meetings, these political meetings here in Florida, man. No telling what is going to happen. They gotta have the police there, man. You know. All right, hey, let me play it again, man. This is wild. Let me see if I can do it here.
You're good. Come on, buddy. I appreciate you. But we asked you to leave. The mayor just asked you to leave. I appreciate it. You're good. Come on, buddy. I appreciate you. But we asked you to leave. The mayor just asked you to leave. I appreciate it. You're good. Come on, buddy. I appreciate you. But we asked you to leave. The mayor just asked you to leave.
Hey. Hey, was y'all able to hear that, man? Hey, yeah, one of them auto tune voice boxes. It was all like, right man, now to be on the down with your daddy. Hey, bros are like California knows how to party. Oh man, yeah, man. You never know what you'll see, man, out here in Florida. It's wild, man. 'Cause he was mad because he was getting put out that meeting, man. They didn't want him there in that meeting. They didn't want him there in that meeting, so they had the police try to escort him out. The mayor was holding a meeting, like a committee meeting or something, and for whatever reason he didn't want that guy there, and so they was trying to put him out. He was going off with the voice box. Oh, Cortez said he thought that was DJ Black. Right. Oh, oh shit, man. Hey man, that's some straight up bullshit, man. You see some wild shit, man, here in Florida, man. You see some you see some wild shit. Uh yeah, man. So, you got shit like that happening, man. Them and them Chicago meetings, your girl Tiffany Henyard, she be in there, man, like, you know, just just ratchet out. You know what? A lot of these new uh politicians, man, these chicks they be super ratchet, man. They be super ratchet, man. You know, they say some crazy stuff, man, and just their whole demeanor and uh and how they conduct business. It's very ratchet and unprofessional. Um, and they introduce a lot of unnecessary stuff, and they're like real defiant about it, man. Who say they all 40? Yeah, man. Yeah. They all in their 40s, man. Like it's like a movement, which they do have ratchet feminism, and they're really pushing that stuff, man, in a lot of places, and it's like it's growing, man. Like I mean, I'm starting to see white women, like white girls, do the same thing, and it's like it's disgusting, man. It's like, what, is there something in the water? I don't know. I think it's that Flint, Michigan water is everywhere, man. So they all sound ghetto. Yeah, yeah, they do, Cortez. Uh, so they have no decorum. It's like, man, they parade around like that, and they real quick to tell you how many degrees and stuff they got, and it's like, you know, it's I don't know. I haven't been in college for a long time. Is it that they're teaching this stuff on campuses? That they're is it that they have ratchet professors? I know uh with the intersectional feminism, they teach a lot of the lesbianism and stuff, and they teach a lot of the, um a lot of the simp stuff um on these campuses. But they must be teaching the ratchet stuff too, man. You know, Quote, Mike Reed says, this is the way they are, nice homes and ghetto ones. Cortez says, it's bad when the so-called pookies are more articulate than the female judges or politicians. We've seen it on panels. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's disturbing. You would think that ideally, you want culture to kind of filter its way down. And that's how it's worked in the past before. Culture would filter its way down, but it's like now culture is filtering in reverse. You got, professional women that they want to be sexy red, they want to be Glorilla, and it's like these are the same women that'll uh they want to keep the Freaknik video from seeing the light of day. And it's like, well, if y'all gonna act like that right now, y'all gonna act like that and talk like that right now, what's the point of trying to hide the video? You know, what's the point? Why be ashamed of that when you're still carrying yourself like that right now? You know, Say they were never corrected in college. The others told them that they were cool. Is that really the case? Because um from from how I'm seeing it is that basically they kind of self-segregated, and they didn't really deal with the others, and the others didn't deal with them. They kind of just, they became their own type of homegrown problem, you know. So I don't know about that, Mike. Said Cortez Smith said, I literally never seen a guy from the male space lose an argument with them on YouTube. I've seen women with master's degrees get washed by male warehouse workers. That's because what happens with these women with these degrees, they get caught up in using a lot of words, and they don't, they want to flim flam you and bedazzle you with a bunch of words that really don't mean anything. It's just filler. It's like they speak like they're writing a paper. And, it's like, they can't concisely get to the logic of whatever their talking point is. And they haven't done the work to look at all sides of an argument. And instead, they want to bedazzle it with a bunch of words. Cortez Smith says, for example, Average Man Unplugged says he was a warehouse worker and he watched several women with so-called education. These women are delusional. Yeah, yeah, a lot of them, man. A lot of them are delusional. It's and yeah, it goes without saying it's not all of them, but I I say 95% of the ones that if they go to college, if they get secondary education, they come out on the other side very delusional. They come out on the other side because they've gotten um, an extra and reinforcing dose of indoctrination, and that university is really like an echo chamber. and this was my issue when I was in university. I was constantly arguing with professors about stuff, that didn't make sense. Like, why are they holding on so hard to the the wage gap when it's been proven for years that the wage gap is false, and you know um different stuff like that. But they don't encourage thought, they encourage compliance, you know and on the other end, it's kind of like university has become the Catholic Church. If you understand how the Catholic Church operated in the Caribbean, which is why, like, Santeria has a lot of Catholicism mixed into it, was that they said, okay, we're not going to change, we're not going to get rid of the indigenous religions here. We're just going to allow the local population to, we're going to introduce um, whatever elements that they find acceptable into their their customary cu- their uh, customary and ancestral religions. um, we're just going to allow them to mix the two, and it'll become its own thing, but it'll still be an offshoot of what it is we believe. And so I think that's what you have happening now in university, that they're saying, well, we're not going to discourage them from being ratchet and stuff, and we're not going to discourage them from what they think. We're going to validate that ratchet, just we're going to validate what they think. We're going to tailor our message to wrap around what they already think and feel, and then that way, we'll pass them, and we'll make sure that they have to pay back that 80 to 100 grand in student loans, and that's pretty much what happens, you know because I'll tell you this, for a lot of the women that, say for instance, they go the military route before they go to college, and they get to college that way, they don't have the same mindset, and you can see the obvious difference if you've been around it. They know that, hey, what they're teaching here in school is in real life. So what I need to get is the things that are important enough to get the job that I want, to make as much money as I can, to get this good grade and get out of here. They don't live and die by that indoctrination. You also see that with guys who spend some time working or in the military before they go to college. The objective of college becomes different, you know. And like I said, when I went back to college, I was older, and um, I had, family man, combat vet, and stuff, worked a while in law enforcement, and before that, IT, before I went back to school. And, my mind frame was very different. And like I said, I wasn't conservative, but on some issues I was conservative, and some issues I was liberal, but at the, uh, it was often oppositional to what was being taught at university. You know, say these women are delusional. Mike, we say I deserve this and I deserve that. Exactly. Cortez says true. The funny thing about that thing deserve, when you say you deserve something, that's fine. Okay, you say you deserve it. Do you deserve all of the bad that comes with it? You notice they never say the negative consequences or negative results. You notice they never say they deserve, those results. If you run around here and you busting it wide open, raw dogging, and you catch, syphilis or something worse, you never hear them say, well, I deserve what I got, you know. Um, You never hear them, if they get caught scamming or something, they wind up doing something that they wind up catching a bid, you notice they never say, well, I deserved that time because I was out there fucking up. They don't ever say that. So it's funny, they only deserve the good stuff. They only deserve rewards. you know? So it's like when they say that stuff, I tune out because I already know what it is. It's like, all right, yeah, you get what you negotiate, you know, um, and just because you've done the work and stuff doesn't mean you're going to get it, especially if it's a competition situation. You might come in second. Second is the first loser. I mean, it happens. It's nice to get the things that you work for. You know, but a lot of the stuff that they say that they deserve, it's not because they put in the work and the time and stuff. It's they say they deserve stuff because I'm me. I deserve it because I'm me. And it's like, you know, really? You're you and you got a vagina, so you deserve, to you deserve a seven-figure guy who's 6 feet tall and guy has a six-pack or an eight-pack, and who all the women want him, but he only wants you. You deserve all of that simply because you're a person with a vagina. you know? Yeah. So that's what they say that stuff. They don't say I deserve to be called doctor because I went to school and I put in all of those hours studying and in the lab and doing research and stuff. You don't hear him say I deserve about that. You hear him say I deserve when it comes to living a life of leisure and luxury, you know. So, yeah, you know. I've never even and that's not to say that drug dealers don't say that, but I've dealt with a lot of drug dealers from locking them up, having discussions with them and stuff. They don't say that. They don't. I've never heard one of them say, "I deserve." What they say is, "Man, I got to get this money any way I can, man. Unfortunately, I got to deal with what come with it." That's what they say. That's what I've heard most often. What I've heard um, after that, second most often is that I started doing this because I need to get money because women like money and women like drugs. you know, so but I haven't heard a drug dealer say um you know I deserve. I do this because I deserve a six-bedroom house and stuff like that. Cortez Smith says, so am I right about this that I'm about to say that 9 out of 10 of drug dealers are broke in this day and age? Yes. Yes, most drug dealers are broke. Most drug dealers are trying simply trying to survive and get by. The game is not about making the most money. The game is about who can stay free the longest. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was about um, trying to get as much money as you can. It was about that. A lot of the stuff dried up, particularly with the black drug dealers. They kind of got xed out of the game really quick, and for them it became about who can stay free the longest. You know, so these days, yes, yes, absolutely. These days they are broke. Drug dealers don't really make any money. Say I know back in the day it was different. Yeah, it was. Um, Man, I would say like the mid 90s when it really peaked. Uh, you that's where you saw that's where I saw probably the most money, but the turnover was ridiculous. These guys, man, you know, um, they didn't stay making a lot of money for long. So Cortez Smith says, I noticed that these days it's not about even about money, but it's to be cool, it's fashionable. Yeah. Well, you know what? It depends on where you are. Like in middle class communities, it's fashionable. It's kind of the avant garde. You know, everybody wants to be. What was the guy? The rebel guy. Everybody wants to be. Yeah, the cool guy. It's about being cool in your middle class, upper middle class, and wealthy communities. Drug dealing among poor people is survival. Most of these guys are trying to make enough money to be able to buy a sandwich, get a couple pair of jeans and some Air Force Ones, or they're trying to survive. They're working out of these traps, which, don't have a lot of times don't really have running water, don't really have power and stuff. It's bad. I mean, the drug dealers now are not making any money, man. And you got to remember, I just stopped arresting drug dealers because I just retired recently. And that's what I was seeing on the ass end, that these guys weren't making money. I tell you who started making when I right when I was making the move to retire, scamming was growing. Scamming was becoming more of a thing. Uh and so those are the guys that were getting the money. It was the scammers. The drug dealers, man, very few drug dealers were actually making money, you know. So you notice these days it's not even about money for most, but okay. Yeah, we said that. And because girls will take a 20K a year weed ban over 35K 9 to 5, the hood chicks will. Um, yeah, it's because um I'm gonna tell you something. And me and DJ Cuda, shout out to my brother DJ Cuda. We've been around these YouTube spaces, and y'all know which ones I'm talking about. We've been around the YouTube spaces a long time. And this is something I said me and Cuda talked about years ago on his show. Um, uh, you know, women like drugs. They like drugs and they like fast money. They like men of leisure. With drug dealers, you get a lot of that. Men who, they can get up and be spontaneous. Drugs are fun to them. Women love cocaine. It is what it is. Women love cocaine, and the money that they like money that can be made rather easy. And now, even though most drug dealers aren't making money, the ones that are making money, they can get money pretty fast, and women like that, man. And so that's why I was saying, for guys, oftentimes, if you're a you got trying to be a drug dealer, oftentimes the plug is a female. Your way to the plug is either through a female or the plug is a female herself. A lot of guys don't want to accept that, but I've locked up lots of female drug dealers, lots. I was hell on bitches, you know. Um, and a lot of them are the plug, especially when you start talking, the cocaina. A lot of them are the plug. It is what it is. Most of nickel and dimers, they only smell weed. They only sell small weed bags, and most of them smoke it. That's really what guys are. Most guys that are selling drugs now And I just said this. They want to sell enough drugs to buy something to eat, be able to smoke, be able to get high, get a couple pairs of jeans and some shoes, and to keep from being completely homeless. They're not making any real money. You know, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, drug dealers was walking around, 5, 10 grand in their pocket a day. It was nothing to see that. Now, these guys are trying to work off $150 packs. Most of them. That's just the truth. The most of it was like, man, that's when I noticed. I want to say like maybe 2010, 2011. Like 2011, 2012. I noticed that a lot of the money dried up um, in drug dealing, and that most of them guys was working. They were working off jabs, and they was working off a sack of weed. They work off a jab, a crack, or a heroin, or they work off they work off a pack, of weed, a crack. They weren't getting a lot of money. You may have had the one guy, who basically ran the operation. He would have the most money, but like even with them guys, you know, a lot of times they weren't moving a lot of money like that. Um, so and that's really with black guys. With the and with the Mexicans, with the Mexicans, it was different. It was different with the Mexicans because they had the plug from Mexico. Um, their drug dealers were very different. You know, you very seldom seen Mexicans sell crack. They sold coke, um, and they worked bars and stuff, bars and restaurants, different stuff like that, man. You know, it was very different, and you know, the politics were different, and they were a lot harder to catch. You know, so Um, but yeah, little street dudes and them little cats ain't making no money. The little Pookie he ain't making no money, man. Them dudes ain't they really weren't making no money. You know. It is what it is, man. But now the new thing, like I said, the new thing is scamming, and scamming has become so much easier that you don't have to be you don't have to be a computer whiz kid and have a whole lot of technical skill to scam. They got a few different ways that they do it. What has really come back though a lot too, a lot of them guys that would normally be trying to sell drugs, they didn't turn back to doing stick ups, because a lot of them are too stupid to scam and there's no money in drug dealing. They're just doing stick ups, and that's because they're facing less penalties. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Cortez, always the last to figure it out. Always the last to figure it out. You know, yeah, man. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, the black ones want to look like drug dealers, making it easy to catch. That's why they were so easy to catch in the in the 90s and the 2000s and the early two all throughout 2000s. Really, they everybody wanted to look the part, and so they wanted to look like a drug dealer even when they weren't. And so it actually worked out for the real drug dealers, because then you had normal guys, they wanted to look like they wanted to look like drug dealers and shooters and stuff. And so, which is what you have now. It's easy. It's easier for the real criminals to hide among the regular guys because everybody looks the same. You know, the worst thing that could ever happen. Like I was young in in the uh in the 1990s, and I was young when Polo started getting. We was rocking like Polo, Nautica, stuff like that. Uh, you know, and cats. We was all b boys, and we were in the hip hop scene. Cats was wearing dreads and stuff that was in the hip hops. I was on the front end of that. I remember when sagging started. That kind of started like around 89, 90. Where cats started sagging their pants. Because before that, it was the tight Levi's, the Levi's and the track Nikes and stuff. That was the thing in Chicago. And we kind of, my cats like me that were in the hip hop and the house music, we came through with the Jabot overalls, the saggy jeans because we wanted to show off the Calvin Klein underwear and stuff like that, you know. And so, we would have the low, the low cut, the low waist on the pants and stuff. And then, when drugs really started popping, when the crack era really started getting going in Chicago, a lot of cats would be getting arrested, and they take your belts and your shoelaces, and when they bond you out of jail, when they throw you out of jail, a lot of them guys wind up not having belts and shoelaces, so they was walking around with no shoelaces and saggy pants, and it became, a fashion statement. So, you know and that shit's been around ever since, you know. And so, going back to the cats with the dreads and wearing all of the rocking the polo gear and stuff like that, and later on, Coogee and stuff like that. It's like everybody was looking alike, so it was like you couldn't, if for the untrained eye and for people that were in neighborhoods that they weren't where they didn't know anybody, all everybody looked the same, and so you couldn't tell the criminals from the mundane squares, and enterprising criminals use that to their advantage, and now we're at a point, so many guys wear dreads. You don't know who the shoot. All the shooters wear polo and rock dreads and stuff. you know, um, they there used to be, certain guys were preppies. Drug dealers. A lot of them had the preppy style. The low fades, the bald heads. Nice polos. Jeans with the creases and stuff like that. And, that people, I don't really see a whole lot of people dressing like that nowadays. Guys really don't be clean like that. They all have this, they all look like, metrosexual Rastafarians now. Everybody look like that, and the clothes, there's the feminine influence on men's clothing now. It's very apparent. Everything is tight and fits funny, and it's like I I look at a lot of this stuff, man. It reminds me of back like in the 70s when you had guys dressing like gay bullfighters. It's like really that era has kind of, I guess it never really left. But I think now, um, I think it's more integrated than ever into the fashion, But you always had your guys that dressed up like Prince or the Isley Brothers, where you look at them and be like, ugh. You kind of got to give them the side eye, you know. But it's like now everything, even okay. Cortez talk about the skinny jeans, These dudes are outright wearing tights, man. They're just the jeans are more like tights. They're like the jeggings, man, and it's weird now. So you know that's what I'm seeing, bro. You know, but yeah, man, yeah. You know, it is what it is. I don't. Shit has changed. Like I say, the drug game has changed. You know, all your drug dealers. Drug drug dealing is a fashion statement more than anything. You know, it always was a party thing, because Bill Cosby Bill Cosby was a drug dealer, straight up. He was a drug dealer. He was the guy that brought all of the the quaaludes to the party, to get bitches high, and so they get high, guys, bone on them. Bill Cosby was a drug dealer, and he wasn't the only one. You know, Richard Pryor, there's a few of them guys, man. That's always been around. A guy like Ray J. Ray J has never had to be a drug dealer, but Ray J was a drug dealer to the stars. Yeah, yeah. You know, all of the he don't ever have to say it, but I chased drug dealers for almost 30 years. I know a drug dealer when I see one. And Ray J, it was nothing but he was a drug dealer for the rich, man. You know. So we'll learn about him as we'll learn about him as time goes on. You know. There's gonna be more put out. He run around here, you know, he thought that that was the cool thing to do. So it is what it is. Well, hey, listen, I gotta go get some sleep because I gotta get up in the morning. I got stuff to do. You guys, I appreciate everybody stopping in. If you haven't already hit the like button, do me a favor, hit the likes. Um, you guys know I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream, running my mouth, babbling, yapping, whatever you want to call it. I'll be here. I like to use the babbling titles because it's a lot harder for the weirdos like your Tiffany, your Kimberly Nicole Fosters to kind of zero in um, on content that they don't like. I'm just babbling. I'm not. Certain titles. I'm not here to make their job easy. I'll put it that way. The minute you tell the truth on them and say something they don't like, they go cry tears to Zaddy, and they're trying to get your channel taken. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think the whole thing with Babble, just having this general babble, it's uh I think it's a smart strategy, so yeah, she was lying on old man like that. Yeah, well, of course. And like I said, old man brought a lot of that. He ultimately brought it on himself, but at the same time, you know, uh, at the same time, man, she is disingenuous and she is a hypocrite, and she was just waiting on an opportunity to get him out of the way. Yeah, yeah, I talked about that earlier, Cortez. Tito, you know, Tito tore a new one. That's General Tito fashion. Tito going, if he come after you, he gonna split your wig. That's what Tito do. you know, Tito gives no quarter, none. If he coming at you, he coming at you. I haven't seen Tito take it easy on anybody. What he calls taking it easy is still destruction. So yeah, yeah, I saw that, man. I saw that. That's what made me kind of double back on the conversation about her that I was talking about earlier, because I'm in my earlier live stream, I kind of addressed her hypocrisy and disingenuousness. But hey, listen, I'm gonna get on out of here. I got to get some sleep. You guys take it easy. Be safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.